فالعلم ميراث الرسول أمانة فاز الحفيظ لإرثه الرباني.
الحمد لله رب العالمين، له الحمد الحسن والثناء الجميل، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له يقول الحق وهو يهدي السبيل، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه والتابعين لهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد. Inshallah ta'ala, I'm now going to speak about times which, when it comes to students of knowledge, times which they waste. And they take these times very lightly, but it takes a lot of their time, and they spend so much time in it. And that is az-ziyarat. The first one is when it comes to visiting people. A lot of students of knowledge, who are seeking knowledge, they're either extreme exaggeration or extreme negligence. Gathering, meeting with people they love, and socializing. This is something that is become very common among students of knowledge. Yani at-talibu ilm, or for example be studying in another country, abroad, and he would come from that university and he would come and visit people, for example in the UK, and he spends his whole summer holiday, or he spends the bulk of his summer holiday, or even his winter holiday, or whatever holidays he gets, the bulk of it he spends socializing with people, going out, eating, and socializing with them. And that, to be honest, is wasting time, not only yours, but also wasting other people who are looking at knowledge as a very important thing, who admire knowledge, who want to learn, who are with you because they love seeking knowledge. And for you, it's a holiday, because you're going to go and seek knowledge in the next few months after your summer holidays is over. You're going to go back and seek knowledge again. But these people whose time you're wasting, they only had this summer holiday to seek knowledge if they were going to seek knowledge. Because once their summer holiday is over, they go back to school or university or college. So not only have you wasted their time, but you also wasted your time. Because even for you in the summer holiday, you should have revised what you studied that entire year in your university, or what you studied with the ulama and the mashayikh, so that when your next year starts, inshallah ta'ala, you're prepared and you're ready. Because knowledge is connected. وَلِذَلِكَ there's a kalamun qayyim, a very beautiful speech from none other than the great Imam Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah, when it comes to brothers gathering and socializing. He mentions this in his kitab al-Fawaid. He says, al-ijtima'u bil-ikhwani qisman. He says when brothers socializing is two types. The first one is ijtima'un ala mu'anasati at-taba' wa shughul al-waqti. There are people who socialize, they love to be in gatherings. Why do they like to do that? Is because it's mu'anasatu at-taba'. You enjoy the presence of this person. وَشُغُلِ الْوَقْتِ, and you want to waste time with them. Ibn al-Qayyim said, فَهَذَا مَضَرَّةُ أَرْجَحُ مِنْ مَنْفَعَتِهِ. This person, when you're with them, he gives you that happiness, that joy and all of that. The harm that comes from that is more than the benefit that you attain from it. وَأَقَلُّ مَا فِيهِ أَن يُفْسِدَ الْقَلْبِ. And the bare minimum in harm for that is that it harms your heart. That's the bare minimum. The second one is وَيُضَيِّعُ الْوَقْتِ, and also it wastes your time, he says Ibn al-Qayyim. The second one is الاجتماع بهم على التعاون على الأسباب النجاة. The second type of gatherings, or second type of socializing, is that you guys gather together على أسباب النجاة, for successful things. والتواصي بالحق والصبر, to advise one another good and patience. He said فهذا أعظم الغنيمة وأنفعها. He said this one, of course, without a doubt, it's the greatest form of benefits, and it's a ghanima, it's a booty for you to get. But even that one, which you guys are meeting for what? التواصي بالحق والصبر, to advise one another good, to advise each other patience. التعاون على أسباب النجاة. Even that one, he says, ولكن فيه ثلاث آفات. But this one, even this one, there's three harms in it. Even that one, there's three harms in it. Which is what? تزين بعضهم لبعض. The student of knowledge, when he meets the other student of knowledge, he's gonna تزين بعضهم لبعض. Each one will adorn himself for the other one. He will wear certain clothes. He will make himself speak in a certain way. He'll make himself look good. And he beautify his words and etc. الكلام والخلطة أكثر من الحاجة. And because you think you're good, you're calling this person to good and you're benefiting this person in terms of their akhirah, and they're doing the same for you, you guys start talking more than what you need. So الكلام والخلطة أكثر من الحاجة. The third one is أن يصير ذلك شهوة وعادة ينقطع بها عن المقصود. It becomes a norm. It's the third harm. Now this becomes a norm. You say to the person, brother, let's meet up tomorrow again. Let's do it again. And it becomes something you keep doing and you keep doing and you keep doing when the aim and the objective is now gone now. So brothers, I really want you to understand, Ya طلاب العلم, the students of knowledge, ittaqullah, fear Allah tabarak wa ta'ala regarding the people. And all you students of knowledge who are studying and seeking knowledge, your time, give it importance. When it comes to seeking knowledge, avoid socializing too much. That ijtima' is either one of those two, brothers and sisters. It is either اجتماع على مؤانسة الطبع وشغل الوقت. The answer to that is فهذا مضرته أرجح من منفعته. That one, there's more harm in it than benefits. وأقل ما فيه أن يفسد القلب ويضيع الوقت. It will destroy your heart and waste your time. The second one he says is what? الاجتماع بهم على التعاون على الأسباب النجاة والتواصي بالحق والصبر فهذا أعظم الغنيمة وأنفعها. This is the one that you and a good brother, you meet, or a few brothers and you meet, and you guys are working towards success and prosperity for this dunya and the hereafter. You guys are talking about at-tawasi bil-haqq, you're talking about the truth and khair and akhirah. Was-sabr, you're talking about patience and good things. فَهَذَا أَعْظَمُ الْغَنِيمَةِ وَأَنْفَعِهَا. No doubt there's a lot of benefit in that one, but even that one has some harm in it. The first harm he mentions is تَزَيُّنُ بَعْضِهِمْ لِبَعْضٍ. Each brother starts to adorn himself for the other brother. He starts to speak a certain way, his voice, his vocabulary, the way he carries himself, he changes that. الكلام والخلطة أكثر من الحاجة. You start mixing with each other more than the need. And last but not least, أن يصير ذلك شهوة وعادة ينقطع بها عن المقصود. It becomes a norm. It becomes something you start practicing on a regular basis now. You make it a schedule and a routine. One of the beautiful statements I also read is what Al-Allamah ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah mentioned from his Shaykh in his Kitab Madarij al-Salikin, the second volume. Ibn al-Qayyim mentions this in his Kitab Madarij al-Salikin, the second volume, page 202. He said, قال لي شيخ الإسلام ابن تيمية. He said, my teacher Ibn Taymiyyah said to me, قدس الله روحه في شيء من المباح. Ibn Taymiyyah spoke to his student, and he said to his student Ibn al-Qayyim regarding a matter that is permissible. He said, هذا ينافي المراتب العالية وإن لم يكن تركه شرطا في النجاة. الله أكبر. Wallahi, brothers and sisters, if you learn this qa'idah, it will benefit you in the course of your life. Ibn Taymiyyah said to his student Ibn al-Qayyim regarding a issue which is permissible in Islam, it's not haram, it's allowed, it's mubah. He said to him, هذا ينافي المراتب العالية. Even that though it's permissible, it goes against the high levels, it goes against high aspiration, it goes against that top stage you can attain. وَإِن لَمْ يَكُنْ تَرْكُهُ شَرْطًا فِي النَّجَاةِ. Even if leaving that thing is not a condition for success, but it still prevents you from high levels. Allahu Akbar. That is one thing I want you, طلاب العلم, to understand. Some things might be allowed in the religion, but you are a student of knowledge, it's just not a good thing for you. It's just not a good thing for you. Just leave it. Even if it's allowed, you can prove it's allowed, you have evidences to allow it, because now you're a طالب ilm. Leave it and avoid it. Ibn al-Qayyim said that to Ibn Taymiyyah said that to his student Ibn al-Qayyim. Also, Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah said something similar in his Majmu' al-Fatawa, the 10th volume, page 405. And he also said something similar in page 426. He said, وَأَمَّا اعْتِزَالُ النَّاسِ فِي فُضُولِ الْمُبَاحَاتِ وَمَا لَا يَنْفَعُ وَذَلِكَ بِالزُّهْدِ فِيهِ فَذَلِكَ مُحْتَسَبٌ. Leaving the people when it comes to فضول المباحات, it's mubah, it's allowed, it's not haram. leaving them off, and that which doesn't benefit you, by staying and avoiding them. He said, فَذَلِكَ مُسْتَحَبٌ, this is a recommended matter. Student of knowledge, the minute you have to start getting away from socializing and meeting everybody and being in the circles of everybody. Ibn Taymiyyah also said, وَلَا بُدَّ لِلْعَبْدِ مِنْ أَوْقَاتٍ يَنْفَرِدُ بِهَا بِنَفْسِهِ فِي دُعَائِهِ وَذِكْرِهِ وَصَلَاتِهِ وَتَفَكُّرِهِ وَمُحَاسَبَةِ نَفْسِهِ وَإِصْلَاحِ قَلْبِهِ. The student of knowledge requires times that he is alone. Ibn Taymiyyah saying this. وَلَا بُدَّ لِلْعَبْدِ مِنْ أَوْقَاتٍ يَنْفَرِدُ بِهَا بِنَفْسِهِ, that he is separate from the people. He's alone. فِي دُعَائِهِ, in his dua. وَذِكْرِهِ, in his remembrance. وَصَلَاتِهِ, his prayer. وَتَفَكُّرِهِ, in his thinking. وَمُحَاسَبَةِ نَفْسِهِ وَإِصْلَاحِ قَلْبِهِ, in accounting himself. Like, what did I do today? What did I say today? How was I performing today as a Muslim? Was I getting closer to Allah, or did I do things that distanced me from Allah? I need to perfect myself in these certain things. That's what the person does. Ibn al-Qayyim also said in his kitab Bada'i al-Fawaid, he said, إِنَّ فُضُولَ الْمُخَالَطَةِ هِيَ الدَّاءُ الْعُضَالِ الْجَارِبُ لِكُلِّ شَرٍّ وَكَمْ صَلَبَتِ الْمُخَالَطَةُ وَالْمُعَاشَرَةُ مِنْ نِعْمَةٍ وَكَمْ زَرَعَتْ مِنْ عَدَاوَةٍ وَكَمْ غَرَسَتْ في القلب من خزازات تزول الجبال الراسيات وكم غرست في القلب من حزازات تزول الجبال الراسيات وهي في القلوب لا تزول. فضول المخالطة فيه خسارة الدنيا والآخرة، وإنما ينبغي للعبد أن يأخذ من المخالطة بمقدار الحاجة. انتهى كلامه رحمه الله. This kalam of Ibn al-Qayyim, he says, إن فضول المخالطة, going overboard in mixing with people, هي الداء العضال, it's a cancerous action. It's cancerous, brothers and sisters. الجالب لكل شر. Wallahi, listen to this. It's not me, AbdurRahman Hassan, saying this. Mixing with people a lot, Ibn al-Qayyim is saying, it brings about a lot of evil. الجالب لكل شر, it drags a lot of evil to you. وَكَمْ سَلَبَتِ الْمُخَالَطَةُ وَالْمُعَاشَرَةُ مِنْ نِعْمَةٍ. How many mixing with people and staying and socializing with people has blessings being removed. وَكَمْ زَرَعَتْ مِنْ عَدَاوَةٍ. How many animosity came from people socializing, that if you just wasn't there at that time, this problem wouldn't have happened. How many people, brothers and sisters, that happens to? Brothers and sisters, it increases animosity and hate. It increases in your status and your position going down in the eyes of the people. Always available, always willing to do things, and it's not even good. ولذلك ابن قدامة المقدسي رحمه الله, he said in his kitab مختصر منهاج القاصدين أن عمر بن الخطاب رضي الله عنه, he said, خذوا حظكم من العزلة. Take your portion from al-uzla, meaning secluding yourself from the people. Masruq rahimahullah, he said, إن المرء لحقيق أن يكون له مجالس يخلو فيها فيذكر فيها ذنوبه فيستغفر منها. It is upon a person to have gatherings where يخلو فيها, they're alone, secluded from everybody else. فيذكر فيها ذنوبه, where the person remembers their sins and the shortcomings that they came with, and they ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness. So brothers and sisters, the first thing I've come to see that students of knowledge waste their time is when it comes to socializing and mixing. The second thing that the students of knowledge a lot of the time waste their time with is al-ishtighalu bi umurin mafdula, busying themselves in things which are less important. Somebody has more important things to do, but they preoccupy their time with things which are less important. For example, you find a person, he read for 1 hour, or he came to a class for 1 hour. He benefited, okay? He saw some benefits in himself. What does he do? He spends 5 hours wasting time now. You've benefited for 1 hour, but 5 hours you're going to waste. This is common amongst a lot of people. You spend more time just Alhamdulillah, I did 1 hour for knowledge. Alhamdulillah, that's all that's needed. Why don't you seek knowledge for 5 hours and relax for 1 hour? Some of you might say, but doesn't a person not need to relax? Relaxation is needed, but it's needed biqaddarin, not unrestrictedly. A person, for example, they read for 1 hour Quran, or he memorized a verse or 2 verses, or hadith or 2 hadiths in a day, and then he says, I don't want to make it hard on myself. I memorized 1 verse, I've memorized 2 or 2 hadiths today, but I don't want to make it heavy on myself, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to relax, inshallah ta'ala. I'm going to take the whole day off. It is true that the people are different in their abilities. And of course, everyone needs time to relax, maybe do something, come back, and no doubt. But you're working towards enhancing the number of hours which you spend benefiting yourself and seeking knowledge, right? Not reduce it and put it down. ولذلك Ibn al-Jawzi in his kitab Talbisu Iblis, one of the things that he mentions is a person, أن يكتفي الإنسان, that a person will be happy and sufficient, happy and enjoy in 1 benefit that they benefit, or 2 benefits. And then shaitan enters that person's heart and he says to them, you're upon good. Your other people like that, they didn't even benefit that 1 benefit that you did. And then he says, relax now, you take the whole day off. And that the person wastes his time and does that. So this is another thing that students of knowledge tend to, or people tend to fall into. And so it's a matter which we need to avoid. And if you look at the great scholars of Islam, they were different to that. Shaykh al-Islam Taymi, look what he said. He said, وَقَدْ أَوْعَابَتْ الْأُمَّةُ فِي كُلِّ فَنٍّ مِّن فُنُونِ الْعِلْمِ إِعَابًا فَمَنْ نَوَّرَ اللَّهُ قَلْبَهُ هَدَاهُ بِمَا يَبْلُغُهُ مِنْ ذَلِكَ وَمَنْ أَعْمَاهُ لَمْ تَزِدْ كَثْرَةُ الْكُتُبِ إِلَّا حَيْرَةً وَضَلَالًا. A lot of people, when it comes to Islamic sciences, the different knowledges that are out there, they haven't been given that nur in their hearts, which Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala guides and gives to whoever He wishes, subhanahu wa ta'ala. So a person, Allah has blinded them, subhanahu wa ta'ala. So all of this knowledge and all of these books, all it does to them is confuses them. It's like, what's this about? Nah, this is confusing, man. Ibn Taymiyyah here is saying, فَمَنْ نَوَّرَ اللَّهُ قَلْبَهُ, anyone who Allah enlightens his heart, هَدَاهُ بِمَا يَبْلُغُهُ مِنْ ذَلِكَ, Allah guides him to what will take him to that path. وَمَنْ أَعْمَاهُ, and the one who Allah blinded him, لَمْ تَزِدْ كَثْرَةُ الْكُتُبِ إِلَّا حَيْرَةً وَضَلَالًا. The large number of books they have, it will only cause them confusion and misguidance. ولذلك الذهبي, he said, rahimahullah, in the tarjama of Uthman ibn Sa'id al-Darimi, he said in it, العلم ليس هو بكثرة الرواية. Knowledge is not the more you memorize. ولكنه نور يقذفه الله في القلب. It is light Allah places in the person's heart. وشرطه الاتباع, and the condition for it is to follow. والفرار من الهوى والابتداع, and to run away from desires and innovation. But why did I mention these 2 statements? What was the reason I mentioned it? The reason is because if one of us looks at these books and gets a book and looks at it and ponders on it, you will realize that the proof of Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala is established on us. That these large books that we brought, these lessons we listen to, these lectures that we listen to, the proof of Allah has really been established on us. And if we don't organize our time to benefit from these books, or we don't organize our time to benefit from these lessons, this is going to become from the things that are going to work against us the day we meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because the benefit is there. Al-Imam Muhammad ibn Abi Hatim, he said, AbdurRahman ibn Abi Hatim, he said, سمعت المزني يقول, I heard Imam Ismail ibn Yahya al-Muzani saying, قيل للشافعي, it was said to Imam al-Shafi'i, كيف شهوتك للعلم? How is your desires when it comes to knowledge? How are you when it comes to knowledge? And Imam al-Shafi'i said, this is how it should be to us, brothers and sisters. That when we read and we're benefiting, we don't want to go anywhere else. We're literally enjoying it. It's bringing joy. Look what Shafi'i said. He said, أسمع بالحرف, I hear a word. مما لم أسمعه, which I've never heard before. And guess what it does? It penetrates my limbs and my body parts. It's like my body parts, my arms and they're like ears, they themselves are hearing it. They find blessing in the same thing that my ears are finding blessing is in. And my heart is, I'm literally enjoying every moment of it. This shows you that this was everything for them. The third, inshallah ta'ala, thing I realize that students of knowledge waste their time with is tapes and cassettes, brothers and sisters. Now we're in a time when you don't need cassettes anymore, but it's listening to recordings. Wallahi, these recordings are a blessings from the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Knowledge, wallahi, if you wanted it before, you had to go to certain parts of the world, and knowledge today is available. Innal ilma yu'ta wa la ya'ti was what the Salaf used to say. That doesn't apply anymore. Knowledge is now knocking on your door. That statement is that knowledge, you need to go to it if you wanted to learn, not for it, it won't come to you. Now knowledge is knocking on our doors. I can be in a dars of a certain scholar in Medina, live stream, and benefit from it. I'm benefiting from it. I'm on the other side of the world. And I listen to it. Brothers and sisters should understand the benefit of these online programs and the blessings that they have brought. A person is able to benefit from it. And wallahi, this is min babi tahadduth bin ni'mah. I'm just saying this from the angle of the blessing of Allah tabarak wa ta'ala, mentioning what Allah gave me. Wallahi laqad intafa'tu wastafattu khayran. I benefited many good from these recordings of these great Imams. Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah, how he responds, how he takes on mas'ail, how he listens to questions. Shaykh ibn Uthaymeen answering questions and how he responds to it. I benefited a lot from it, brothers and sisters. The poet, he said, this is the poet is Al-Amir Al-San'ani rahimahullah, in his Manduma fil Hajj. He says, فَمَنْ لَمْ يُجَرِّبْ لَيْسَ يَعْرِفُ قَدَرَهُ فَجَرِّبْ تَجِدْ تَصْدِيقَ مَا قَدْ ذَكَرْنَاهُ. Anyone who hasn't tested what I'm saying, he won't know the weight of what I'm talking about. فَجَرِّبْ تَجِدْ تَصْدِيقَ مَا قَدْ ذَكَرْنَاهُ. Test it. Put it to the test. You will see the truth to what I'm telling you. Students of knowledge are driving. They're not benefiting from the recordings of the ulama, Shaykh ibn Uthaymeen and Shaykh ibn Baz and the great scholars of Islam. The fourth, inshallah ta'ala, time I feel like students of knowledge waste, they don't benefit from, is al-adhan wal-iqamah. The adhan and the iqamah for salahs, there are many benefits you can take from it. A person can designate time between the adhan and the iqamah. I always tell this to brothers. I know a brother who every single day, for a few years, he designated the adhan and the iqamah for every prayer to memorize a small portion of Riyadh al-Salihin until he finished it. He memorized it and finished it. It actually was not for every salah, to be honest. It was only Salatul Asr. Salatul Asri, he was the local imam of his masjid, so he would lead the people to salah. And as you know, in the Arab world, after Salatul Asr, the imam, he does little reminders for the people. He does a little reminder, a little khair for the people, right? So this brother, he would memorize the hadith or two which he would need for that reminder until he completed the memorization of Kitab Riyadh al-Salihin. Between adhan and iqamah, he would memorize it, he would make sure and he would teach that book. So this is, brothers and sisters, something we can benefit from and benefit from that. Number 5 is al-qira'atul hurrah. A lot of students don't have this when it comes to free reading. I meet many brothers, and over the course of my life, I've met many students of knowledge. They have not got the desire to read books. Yani qira'ah hurrah. So the brother, he only sticks to the barnamij, he only sticks to the program of his shaykh. He studies only, and he's graduated some of them. Some, they do not have al-qira'atul hurrah, free reading, where they go through the athar of al-Muallimi and the athar of Ibn Taymiyyah and the athar of Ibn al-Qayyim and the athar of Muhammad ibn Ibrahim, Ibn al-Wazir al-Yamani, and all of those great scholars of Islam, Shatibi and Zarkashi and Ibn Mulaqin and Ibn Kathir and Nawawi and others. No, the student of knowledge doesn't even have that desire to do al-qira'atul hurrah. Brothers and sisters, this is something you will need. If you don't read, your knowledge will decrease. Any mistakes or shortcomings I have come with, it's from me and shaitan, and Allah and His Messenger are both free from it. Subhanakallahumma bihamdih. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. أستغفرك وأتوب إليه.